What if everything we've been taught about how humans connect and how humans communicate is wrong? We believe communication needs words and that minds are separate. But we also know that most of communication is done non-verbally. But what if that is the real way humans are meant to communicate with each other? Right now across the world, there are children, non-speaking, non-verbal, autistic children who are reading minds, sharing dreams, and they are accessing something that is beyond our understanding of reality. Since the existence of non-verbal autism, society, and most importantly, science, they considered these children brain dead, essentially. Now just imagine if science basically claims that you are brain dead, but this whole time you're in there completely alive with your own thoughts, your own personality, like you're trapped. Thankfully, Ky Dickens, a documentarian and self-described skeptic, began filming families across the country claiming that their nonverbal autistic child could communicate with them telepathically. One boy named Houston guessed Uno cards that he couldn't see over and over and over with 100% accuracy. Another girl, Mia, spelled the word pirate after her mother had silently looked at an unseen photo on her phone. These weren't just lucky guesses. They were literal mind reading, mental transmissions. Child after child, test after test, these were proven.
My son said to me, "I can hear thoughts." And I said, "Impossible." And he said to me, "You don't get the kind of gifts that I have if you lie."
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
Okay, what is it?
9, 0, 0.
Unbelievable.
1.
Maybe shuffle again, Dr. Powell. Oh.
Plus 2.
So he got the plus, too.
I was wondering, because I was looking at the 2 the whole time and I saw his hand going somewhere else.
What is this phenomena happening? Why are his mind and my mind completely connected?
Over time, and over more children interviewed, Dickens noticed a pattern. Originally, it was thought that these kids could only read the minds of somebody who was close, like their mother, their caregiver, their therapist, but many of these children could read anyone's mind, anyone who entered the premises.
And Houston's brother did not believe he was smart, and certainly did not believe Houston could read minds. And though he was a little reticent to participate, I was able to get him to answer a few questions.
What really got me off guard was that he's actually in there.
And then what about the telepathy? When you first heard about that, did you believe it?
Not at all. I did not believe that he was telepathic in any sort of way. It's just a very hard thing to convince me of.
Do you even believe it now, that he can read minds?
I have seen it with my own eyes, and it kind of changed my mind a little bit.
But how comfortable are you with this reality? Do you talk to your friends about it, like from the Marines or from school? And if yes, and they don't believe you, then how do you react? What do you say?
I would ultimately just have them see it in person. I'll bring Houston up to them and just tell him, hey, think of one little thing, and he writes it out on the board.
So he's read your friends' minds?
He has read my friends' minds before. I've seen it firsthand. It's just incredible to see this kind of stuff.
The more you listen to this podcast, the more they talk about that all humans have the capability to communicate telepathically. Like we evolved with this exact feature that was somehow lost over time as languages were invented and the need for telepathic communication was no more. They even mention how animals are telepathic and communicate with no languages. They cite verified experiments where people's dogs were recorded while they were not home, and the dog waits at the door when their human is about to arrive at home. And when some of these humans were delayed due to a flat tire or something unexpected, the dogs would walk away from the door and then come back when the human was about to arrive again. Unbelievable. Now, This isn't just a podcaster going to random people's houses and conducting experiments. She did this in the most scientific way you could possibly do it. She brought in Harvard-trained psychiatrist Dr. Diane Powell.
I knew that a lot of people would think, boy, Diane's gone off the deep end. But
That's the risk any scientist takes when they challenge the current paradigm.
Joining us today to shed some light, Dr. Diane Powell.
I'm working with children who have been reported by a parent to be able to read their mind.
The data was so compelling and accurate that I had to follow it, even though I knew I was risking my scientific reputation.
I started testing them, and I found that they were exceedingly accurate.
What is the next number?
3.
After the medical board took my license away, I had to prove my sanity. And once I did, I said, I'm going to prove that ESP is real.
She would show random images to the parents, making sure that the child could not see or hear what was being done. And of course, you guessed, with 100% accuracy, the children guessed from another room with no prompts. Results far beyond chance. EEG scans revealed a synchronized brainwave between the adult and the child.
Dr. Tarrant, he's done these QEEG scans to see what's going on.
The biggest overall finding is really this increase of activation across all the brain waves. If there was no change, I would definitely be skeptical.
Not just emotionally linked, neurologically linked. Like somehow the autistic child was viewing from the parent's own eyes. Now, if it already wasn't crazy enough, it gets even weirder.
Let's get weird! Let's get weird!
Almost every child that Ky Dickens went to interview and went to experiment began describing a dreamlike realm that all nonverbal autistic children would go and communicate with each other. A place called the Hill, a glowing hilltop with voices, with no bodies. Children in different states across the world who had never met described the same exact location in vivid detail. And they would describe things about each other, and their parents had no idea who or what they were talking about. And when asked, these children admit to having full relationships telepathically.
And the parents' word for it, I asked Lily if her and John Paul were able to communicate telepathically mind to mind. She picked out a digital voice to represent all of her writings and her answers.
Yes, we loved to communicate mind to mind. We were able to do this from the moment we met many years ago when I first visited Atlanta.
I then asked Lily if she hangs out with John Paul on this metaphorical hill.
Yes, all the time.
I then asked what people do on the hill and who goes there and how one accesses it.
You go to the hill to meet with other non-speakers and share thoughts. You automatically have access to the hill non-speakers go to when you can communicate mind to mind.
But to step back from the hill for a second, I relish learning about John Paul and Lily's love story. She adores his poetry and his writings just as much as his mom does.
So they are able to go to this hill place and communicate with other children across the world. It's like a psychic AIM chat. As I mentioned earlier, the scientific community completely rejects this, and they still believe that nonverbal autistic people are brain dead, basically. They don't believe that they can spell, they don't believe that they're capable of thought, let alone telepathic communication, which to me by now, with all of this evidence, all of these videos, how could you possibly think this now? It really just puts people's egos on full display because they don't want to admit all of the children that they've actually neglected and basically just left to die over the years. This stuff cannot just be dismissed as fairy tales and woo-woo nonsense. One of these children had described a dream that their mother had had as a child, something that she had never shared with anybody ever. Others revealed traumas, losses, and even miscarriages that their parents had never spoke of. A lot of them claimed to communicate with literal dead people, souls of the departed, which they say are guides who help them communicate without words. It's almost like they're tapping into a frequency where they can just tap into your brain frequency, get the information, and get out. Now, of course, in this video, I couldn't cover everything. There's so much in every episode of this podcast, and I really recommend that you guys go listen to it right now. I'll link it in the description. I really want to pose this question to you. Do you think that these nonverbal autistic children could be tapping in to something that all humans have access to? Maybe autism isn't an actual disorder. Maybe it's a human upgrade. Let me know in the comments. Is this real? Is it fake? What is it? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, or if you want me to go deeper into the telepathy tapes, maybe episode by episode. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!